Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Yasmin Gomes, and I'm the marketing specialist at OmniClouds. OmniClouds is the leading provider of ICT as a service. Today, we are presenting one of our monthly webinars on why security is important for SD-WAN deployments, presented by our very own Aqeel Abbas, Manager, Core Networks for Infrastructure. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box on your right. I will bring them up at the end of the session, and we will have time for questions at the end of the session. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Aqeel.
Thank you, Yasmin. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Yasmin, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, loud and clear. You can please go ahead.
Okay.
So, your audience will not be able to speak to you because we cannot have multiple people interrupting. So you have a smooth session. I'll be moderating and taking the questions on your behalf at the end of the session, and I'll read them out to you.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining today's session. Today, we will discuss why security is important for SD-WAN deployments. Um, the agenda of this session is to discuss the WAN security, how it looked in a traditional WAN. Then we will look into the issues or the factors that led to the SD-WAN, and also we will discuss advanced security uh, elements that are needed for the SD-WAN solution. And lastly, we will discuss secure access service at SASE and zero trust network access. So let's quickly move into the next slide. The traditional WAN architectures, in the traditional WAN architectures, we had um, I'm talking about the early model where we had one single MPLS connection from a branch to the DC, and the applications were hosted here at this DC. Okay, so at branch, we only needed one edge router with an MPLS link to the DC, and traffic was being backhauled to the DC. Earlier model had one WAN with MPLS only. A WAN based on traditional multi-protocol label switching uses a model in which traffic from the branch is backhauled through the headquarter or a centralized data center to access applications hosted it in this data center. So this model had some advantages and disadvantages. The advantages were scalability. It was scalable and efficient as well. Um, Also, because the MPLS, we all know they were reliable links. The disadvantages, if I talk about the disadvantages, there was very little or no security needed, or mostly the security control was in the hands of the users. I mean, it was totally in their hands. Whatever they wanted to do, they could do with it. But yeah, they could involve like a service provider. I mean, uh, there was no inherent security features offered by the provider. However, branches or the enterprise could work with the provider to reduce some vulnerabilities and safeguard the network to some extent. But again, there was a lack of central management for networking and security. So again, the control was all in the hands of the service provider. This approach also, this it lacked the total control of the network by the enterprise. All the configuration was taken care by entirely by the service provider. Uh, the only control the branch network admins or the enterprise network admin had was the only through the MPLS dynamic routing. It was expensive again. uh, Deployment was a major concern for using MPLS. If the branches are located in different geographical locations, different countries or continents, it could complicate the deployment process. So typically it took longer times, even months, to connect all of those offices. Thus it increased the cost as well. So then emerged the uh, hybrid WAN approach, an MPLS link with internet. So in this kind of connectivity, we had one MPLS link coming from the branch to the data center. Okay, and the data center is connected to the internet. So the data center was looking after all those needs of the branches that they had for the the accessing their applications on the cloud or over the internet. So all the traffic from the branch was again being backhauled to the data center, and the data center was sending it to the internet over the internet link it had. So again, there are some advantages and disadvantages to this approach, pros and cons. The pros were like simplified map management, and then now we had added a security layer, a firewall at the DC or hub location. Okay, so this was one of the advantages, like branch traffic or the customer traffic was being scanned at the data center. So now there was some sort of security there for the branch users as well. Whereas the disadvantages, if we talk about the cons, MPLS is expensive again, especially if the traffic is being backhauled. Internet is slower again due to this backhauling. Internet was slow, and there was a load on the bandwidth, MPLS bandwidth. So enterprises had to, take more bandwidth from the providers. Thus, it increased the cost as well. Non-business critical traffic caused congestion, resulting in the bad user experience for business critical applications. And again, there was a high latency was there for the SaaS apps, again due to this backhauling. So this was a, a traditional hybrid WAN model. Let us look into another model with MPLS and internet, where multiple hub locations were added. So a nearest branch will go to the nearest hub location. So this was being done to to reduce the latency and reduce the load on the main data center. So it improved some sort of user application, but still it was not great. Like again, if we talk about the pros and cons of this approach, um, the backhauling was distributed to multiple hub locations. It reduced the load on the main DC. The disadvantages were, again, you have to focus on more security devices at hubs, because you had to secure your branch network as well. So if you have more hub locations, you need to add more firewalls. Thus, it will increase the cost, and complexities of configurations and management of network will also come up. So all these issues and the bottlenecks that traditional WAN connectivities were offering, it led the common wisdom to to invent some a new technology, and this new technology is a software defined network. So like I said, hybrid brands, they were not designed to for the cloud and mobile communications in mind whenever they were designed, because at that time cloud and all these SaaS applications did not exist. So And this hub and spoke design, concept remained the suitable architectural model, for years for organizations. But again, there were limitations because of emergence of cloud technologies and SaaS apps. So these disadvantages impacted employee productivity and user experience as well, and so it led to the um, emergence of SD-WAN. So what is SD-WAN? SD-WAN is transformative technology, and it simplifies IT infrastructure control and management by delivering a virtual WAN architecture to connect to the users to their applications. So what SD-WAN does is it aggregates diverse network circuits like it can aggregate broadband and DIA, LTE with MPLS. It can be added to MPLS to create a hybrid network, or there can be alternative to MPLS using all internet wired and wireless links. So these SD-WANs addresses all those flexibilities and with this transport independence, and it enables connections over direct internet broadband as well as multi-protocol label switching and PLS. So have a look at these first generation of SD-WANs, and now we can see like here we got some internet and MPLS link at branches where branches were backhauling their network traffic over the encrypted MPLS and encrypted um, internet link to the data center. And from there, they were going to the cloud to access their applications. Okay. Um, so what happened was, again, as you can see, there were some advantages of this approach. We got some transport redundancy by adding MPLS and multiple internet links. So we got some redundancy at branch level. Um, we could send business critical traffic to DC over MPLS, and non-business critical over the internet. It was cheaper because instead of MPLS, enterprises could buy cheaper internet links. So it will reduce the need for fatter MPLS pipes. The network management was got simplified. It got centralized. So network management became very easy for the network admins. The cons of this approach were, again, as you can see, there's still no protection for the external and internal threats. There is no protection against, internal lateral movements of worms, viruses, and ransomwares. Uh, this local breakout feature, uh, as we see at the branch level, the ability of a branch to work over the internet without needing the backhaul to the data center. It created, a specific need to secure the internet breakout link. So, because the branches are now going directly to the internet, this means enterprises such as, retailers or banks or the government departments, they need to evolve their own branch security, in particular with the overall threat landscape in mind. So uh, consider the scenario like where a customer needs to have guest access. You have a bank, your customer is a bank, and they have a branch, and someone comes into the bank, a guest maybe, or a customer, their customer, or this is a retail shop, and he needs the guest access to the Wi-Fi. Once his access is provided, that users, he can download files, he can download even maybe virus, and maybe his laptop is already infected with a ransomware, who knows. So this could be dangerous for the branch network and this bank. So what we need is, we need to quarantine all those viruses and the threats. We need to have some embedded intrusion prevention or intrusion detection system, IPS and IDS, and antivirus functionalities. Um, at the branch level itself to protect their branch network. We also should have URL or web filtering, because we should prevent the visitors or the users and even the employees from accessing the unwanted potentially virus laden websites. So so, see, the prevention of this unwanted access is also not just limited to guest users. As I said, employees can also expose to the can be exposed to the virus, and their systems can, or maybe the USBs, they can bring some malware or the ransomware or the virus systems. Okay, so we need to focus on. On a solution that can handle all those problems. So what happened was, we need to look on to the um, this issue, because the SD-WAN solved the connectivity problem by simplifying the management, ease of deployment, and it was cost effective as well, due to multiple internet links instead of MPLS. But it um, uh, it increased the threat surface. So there are new security challenges now, kind of internal and external threats, and uh, the for the inbound and outbound traffic. So what security do we need, and why security is needed for the SD-WAN? The flexibility of the application access that SD-WAN provides from end to end comes with a price if not properly secured. That that is, security breaches can occur from anywhere, especially from within the branches. As I mentioned earlier, a user can, with a malicious software or some ransomware or antivirus in his laptop, can screw everything in the network. So we need to protect against lateral movements of worms and viruses and ransomwares. We need to protect the downloads and uploads of the users by scanning those malwares and data breaches. Uh, we need to have some proactive threat hunting, to protect our branches and the WAN network. So segmentation should also be there, because there are different operational functions in a branch, HR and finances there. So we need to have some segmentations to prevent those threats, interdepartmental threats within the network itself. So we need to have an on-prem security as a critical component to protect our branch. So what are the must-have features for the SD-WAN security? It must have an on-prem, cost-effective, integrated SD-WAN with UTM and next-generation firewalls, which should support in-depth defense features. It should have application-based firewall, URL filtering. It should have the ability to scan viruses and protect endpoints, and like antivirus. It should have next generation intrusion prevention system, the malware detection of featured secure web gateway, DNS security, DOS attacks prevention mechanism, and the lateral detection, data leak prevention, and rock RAS functionality. For the what will happen for the cloud users, for the remote users, roaming users, how will we protect them? We should have um, a centralized policy and configuration management to reduce complexity and ease of security management. Also, your next generation firewalls or the security solution you are providing with your SD-WAN solution, which is an integrated solution, it should be tested and recommended by a reputable lab like NSS. Okay, so I mean, your SD-WAN solution provider must have some certification or some, uh, recognition from some reputable lab like NSS. And then security analytics for deepest insight. I mean, you want to know what is happening in your network, like to prevent further security attacks. Everyone needs visibility into their network, what is happening on the network. The visibility and analytics should provide reports and alerts based on security policy violations, byte per packet count of the volumetric distributed denial of service attack, number of accesses to malicious sites, user per location based activity, etc. Uh, and like these reports help in network forensic and troubleshooting as well. So then emerged the second generation SD-WAN, where branches had the integrated SD-WAN with next generation firewall and UTM features. As you can see, branches now have encrypted internet and MPLS link from branch to branch connectivity. They have MPLS plus internet plus LTE, or they can have any sort of transport. And now they are connecting directly to the cloud and to the internet. But with now at this time they have this integrated security solutions with them. So what are the advantages of this second generation SD-WAN? They got on-prem next generation firewall, unified threat management for internal and external threats, segmentation at security compliance that I was talking about, the need for the segmentation in one of the previous slides. They got zero trust security implemented for a control access to corporate resources. Downloads and uploads are not being unscanned like now there is a mechanism to scan them. They got denial of service attacks protection. Again, the traditional like SD-WAN renowned feature, the low latency, which improved the application users experience. It reduced the cost and complexity as well. The cost, again, if we talk about the MPLS and all that stuff. So the management got got improved because now you can manage the network through a single glass of pane. You have all the visibility, network and security, everything is visible for you through a single glass of pane. And there is a security analytics, okay, for deepest level of insights. But there was again a disadvantage that remote users were not protected. So how did we protect them? We, the SD-WAN solution providers, they now added a cloud security gateway, okay, and so with the addition of this cloud security gateway, roaming users also got protected. So these are some of the advantages of this approach. Again, all the same advantages, but with this approach, cloud security gateway was also added, so the roaming users got protected with this approach. What are the must-have SD-WAN secure SD-WAN capabilities? It should have, if you're going for an SD-WAN solution, you should see like consistent protection. It should have consistent protection. It should have critical application prioritization for your business critical applications. It should have the capability to reduce the network attack surface. Okay, so comprehensive analytics and reporting tool should also be integrated with this solution. It should have greater infrastructure simplicity. It should have both the networking and security integrated, and there should be unified management console through which it can be managed and controlled and monitored. It should be easy to scale, and it must have a protection for roaming users as well. What is the buzzword in the market? That is SD-WAN ZTNA, the zero trust network access, and the SASE. These are the buzzwords in the market. So what is SD-WAN? SD-WAN is the next step in the WAN technology evolution, and it supports SD-WAN, security, routing, and other operational functions that can be managed centrally. SD-WAN lays upon the foundations of SD-WAN and aggregates everything into one central management such that there is a greater visibility throughout the local area network. Okay, so and Like an effective secure SD branch deployment seamlessly integrates and manages networking and security capabilities across the WAN edge, like across the WAN edge, WAN and the local area LAN, wireless LAN, and network access control and wireless LAN. So then the zero touch network access. Um, I think we are running out of time. So just quickly, as per Corner, a ZTN is a product or service that creates an identity and context-based logical access boundary around an application or set of applications. So what ZTN cannot see, SASE can see in a nutshell. SASE is the next level. SASE is the convergence of wide area networking or WAN and network security services like cloud access security broker, firewall as a service, and zero trust into single cloud delivered service model. So at OmniClouds, we are offering all these security options. The SD-WAN solution we are offering have all these capabilities. We have SASE, we have our orchestration built in cloud and as in on-prem as well, with all those features that I have mentioned earlier included. So we are helping our clients and customers to solve their brand security solutions and the SD-WAN solutions, SD-WAN connectivity solutions. If you have any questions, you may please ask.
Hi, Akil. Thank you so much for the detailed presentation. We have a couple of questions
Mhm.
from our very own team, Rizwan. He asked about security. If the customer wants to implement only at HQ and the branches without security, is that possible? And how it will save the network as we are accessing through internet with different ISP?
So he wants to implement the SD-WAN without security, right? Yeah.
Only at the headquarters, and the branches are without security.
Yeah, it is possible. I mean, SD-WAN deployment doesn't mind. Like you can take out the security options, so you can turn off the firewall. But then again, your network will be vulnerable to security threats. So I see there are some questions are there. UTM is standard security for all the vendors like Versa, Fortinet, Cisco using same UTM. Yeah, it's almost same. Yeah. About security, if customer want to implement only in HQ and the branches without security, how
Yeah,
to
we
receive?
just discussed that.
Yeah, yeah.
So now you're saying that we can use any UTM, with Versa or Fortinet or Cisco. That's all the same. Um,
Yeah, see, you can at the branch if someone is having their own firewall, their existing firewall, it can be again integrated with this SD-WAN solution if they don't want to get rid of that firewall. Also, in one SD-WAN solution and one ideal SD-WAN solution, firewall of another SD-WAN provider, like a security provider, for example, if you are using Versa,
mhm.
you can use virtualized network firewall, the VNFs, in order to use the Fortinet or Cisco or Palo Alto to protect your branch. So they can be integrated with each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I from Anil from Microscan, people are deploying SD-WAN on firewall itself. How is your solution beneficial?
People are deploying what? Sorry, can I see this question because I cannot see in the question section.
So the question is, people are deploying SD-WAN on the firewall itself. How is
Mm.
OmniCloud solution beneficial?
On the firewall itself, like which firewall? So OmniCloud solution is also having this integrated software defined WAN and UTM features and the next generation firewall features, which is very cost effective as well. Also, we provide the SaaS solution, which is also integrated with our solution. Also, our uh, we also provide firewall as a service. Okay, you don't need to have firewall, in your network, but you can use firewall as a service using our own firewalling solutions.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Anil, I have sent across an invitation to speak if you would like to. We'll go to the next question from Tom Matthew. Apart from the edge devices in the branch, HQ and Cloud Edge, does OmniCloud provide any other gateway edge devices in OmniCloud's DC?
Sorry, Yasmin, come again. Can you put this question in the chat?
You can actually see there's a tab below that says questions.
Yeah, I'm actually clicking on that, but I see only semi. There are four new questions. Okay, four new questions. Apart from the edge services, edge devices in branch, HQ and Cloud Edge, does OmniCloud provide any other gateway edge devices in OmniCloud CC from the edge devices in branch? Yeah, we have our own, backbone network where we have our gateways installed, and that we can use, like those gateways we can use as a firewall as a service as well, those gateways. And we can use them to connect to different clouds, such as Microsoft, AWS, and Google. Also, we can use those gateways to connect non-SD-WAN to SD-WAN networks as well. We are already doing that with some of our customers.
Okay, we
Hope,
have
hope that answered
one
your
more
question.
question from Shehzad Gul. What's needed to manage SD-WAN infrastructure?
What is needed to manage SD-WAN infrastructure? So, yeah, first of all, you should have some SD-WAN solution deployed, right? So, like the solution we are offering, we have, uh, a solution where we differentiate, we segregate the management and control, and the data planes, and we have a centralized orchestrator with a single pane of glass to manage all those branches of the customers and our own branches as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Akil. If you have any further questions, you can send them to marketing@omniclouds.com. You will also find a recording of this webinar on YouTube, on OmniClouds channel. You can just go to YouTube and search OmniClouds. You will find Akil's wonderful presentation. Thank you all for your time. And again, reiterating, you can contact us on our website or send an email to marketing@omniclouds.com. Thank you for your time. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much, Akil.
Thank you, Yasmin.